Yeah, Dawn Rice-Norton is a past district governor for the whole section around the Boston area. So Stow Lions are very pleased to have her presenting on this program for eyesight on glasses.
Great, thank you. I was in West Virginia a few weeks ago and presenting at one of their leadership weekends, and my topic there was bringing forward, I get the exact title, it was developing and maintaining a positive Lions presence. And one of the things I was saying is you need to have that with your Lions. And one of the ways that you can do it is connecting the service they do to the people that it serves and the ultimate beneficiaries and what that means to people. So when we're talking about glasses and what to do with or where they go, and when you, I know when we do a cleaning event, it can get boring, it can get, it's fun sometimes, but it can get boring and long and whatever. But when you see, what you'll see here is you really can put that in your mind when you go and do such a mundane sort of thing. The changes that those glasses make for the people that they go to is absolutely incredible. So that was my point in putting together this slideshow when I was in Mexico. So I was in Mexico last September and, talk more about that. But where those glasses go and the changes those glasses make in people's lives are just outstanding. One thing that's on the LCI website is these little touchstone stories. So this is the one about sight, and I just wanted to not the whole thing, but just give you a little background as to why Lions started this recycling of glasses and bringing them to third world countries and poorer areas. Some areas now of the United States and Appalachia, some of the Indian reservations, Native Americans, you can use the glasses there in the United States, but otherwise you cannot reuse them in the United States because they're considered prescriptions, and you can't do that here. But in other countries, it's acceptable. Yeah. So, just a quick, the World Health Organization estimates that more than 150 million people suffer from blurred vision due to uncorrected refractive errors such as nearsightedness or farsightedness. This inability to see clearly can prevent children from learning at school, adults from finding work or staying employed, and older adults from living independent. Often, a simple pair of glasses can bring the world into focus, but a lack of access to basic care prevents many people in developing nations from getting the treatment they need. Cost is also an issue. In a developing country, a pair of glasses may cost as much as a month's wage. So the value that these people put on these sort of cast-off glasses is amazing. But anyway, to it. So I went with the Lions of Indiana, with Indiana, and it was kind of a vetting process. I applied. I was recommended, applied. He sort of trolled my Facebook page a little bit and said, "Oh, I see you're friendly with this one. I see. How do you know that one? How do you know this?" But anyway, just making sure that you're going to be a good fit. And so you get that trial first year, and then you see if you can get asked back. So they don't just say, "Yeah, come on, everybody, come." It's a limited number because it has to be, because it's so organized. But anyway, where we went is in Uriangato, Guanajuato, Mexico. And this is one of the posters that the Mexican Lions put up all around town before we came. And the cost was 120 pesos, which is around $6-7, depending upon exchange. And what it says is vision is first. Vision is most important. And it says the hours. We were supposed to end at 4. You'll see when I get into the presentation, we didn't quite end at 4. And anybody that couldn't afford this nominal charge was covered by an association there. So what happened was the Indiana Lions flew from Indiana to Dallas. I flew from Boston to Dallas. We met up there. This is them on the airplane. And the reason I put this here is because of the brightness. They're bright orange, like bright orange vests. It clearly marks Eyeglasses mission, Indiana Lions. Anybody that went had them. So they talked on the plane. By the time the plane landed, most of the plane knew where these 20 people were going, what they were going to be doing, and a lot more about Lions. So keeping a good Lions visibility is key for a lot of things. So this is where we are. Whoops. Sent it back, I guess. It's sort of south central Mexico. It's rural. It is a city, but it's very rural, and it's up in the mountains. It's at 6,000 feet, which I didn't realize until I was trying to figure out why I was going up the stairs. Well, we're at 6,000 feet. Well, I do now. But it was a nice area as it goes, but it was, a rural city. So this is our first bus ride coming through the area. And what this particular area is famous for is jeans and textiles. So these are all a series of shops. And what really they are is garages that roll up. They have the roll-up roof, and they put all these things out, and off they go. But these scooters, the people, they drive them, and they're on both sides of the bus. We're in a big bus here. Both sides of the bus, they're nuts. But this is where we were in Mexico. How do I get stop? Doesn't want to advance it past the... Here we go. This is our welcome at the hotels. Maybe this isn't. Just use this. This is some of the Lions presence there. So where we were was in Regatta. The next town over was Morleone, which is where our hotel was. And I should mention that I have less than poquito Spanish. So it was quite a challenge for me. I learned a little Spanish, some essential Spanish, but we were dependent upon interpreters. This here is, it's a collection. They're collecting plastic, and it goes to kids with cancer. But you see the Lion symbol. This is the neighborhood we're at, and you see some of the creative wiring. Was a little, now it's sort of down the street from our hotel that's looking out our hotel. And there were a lot of cathedrals, and the cathedrals were open all the time, 24/7. So just getting a little taste of the air. Oh, yeah, I was looking at this. I thought I took this out. I thought that it looked like a face, and I thought that had this. Anyway, so we got acclimated. We met some of the locals, scorpion, this big giant spider, a few relatives, 3 generations of them. So we were getting acclimated. Some of the local customs, so they charge for public bathrooms there. They don't have public bathrooms, so that's 5 pesos. So, 30 cents, I think it was. And this says, don't flush the paper, put it in the basket, because their plumbing there is so poor. So you kind of get accustomed. But it was hard to remember to do this. But one of the main fundraisers, and you see the building that the Lions are taking care of, but one of their main fundraisers is actually to charge to use their bathroom, because they're right sort of in the center of all those shops and stuff. So this is the inside of their building. It's really, really pretty. And it's massive. The outside looks sort of Quonset hut-y kind of thing, big, massive thing. And it's always under construction, because if it's under construction, you don't have to pay taxes on it. So, but they use it for functions and things, but it's beautiful, marble floors. Anyway, it's a big, huge, huge building, this particular place. These are some of the boxes that get sent down. So these are long, skinny boxes, just wide enough for a pair of glasses to be in there, and then they're packed in the bigger boxes. They ship these down to Texas, and then they have a Texas lion that brings them into Mexico. Because that's a feat in itself to actually get them in another country, because not all other countries want positive intervention. And it's not always easy to get things across. So they're sent down well ahead. 11,000 pairs got sent down. So when you're thinking about here's 3,000 glasses, here's 600 more, here's this. This is 11,000 that went on one mission. This is setting up the tables and things. They set them, you can see they're in by prescriptions, pluses and minuses, and that's based off their prescription. These are some of our fellow, we were selectors. So we were charged, my job there was to look through the boxes to find the right pair of glasses. And I'll show you what that looks like a little bit later. So this is our setup table. At first, when I saw it, I saw the fly swatters and thought, okay, so we've already seen a scorpion. We've already seen a really big spider. What do we use these for? What comes in here during the day? Thinking that, but that's to get the person's attention. You raise it up and get their attention. It wasn't to, swat, because I was a little worried. So our day started very early, 5 a.m. I got up, showered. We had 6 o'clock breakfast, and they made the breakfast. Sometimes it was refried beans and eggs. Sometimes it was fruit. We jumped on the bus, cheerful little group, at 7 and went down to the hall. So this was the greeting there. They had the mayor, they had the city officials. It was a great big deal. The whole time we were there, it was like you were kings and queens, and they were just so appreciative. And the Mexican lions, so when the Indiana lions look for sites to go, there's certain things. It's like setting up a midwinter or any kind of, your programs or anything. They have a set list of things that are must-dos. And, where the hotel is, and it's safe, and because not all of Mexico is safe. And we were always with somebody from there. So, and we never felt unsafe. And so we get to the airport, and the Mexican army trucks pulled up with a guy and a gun, and I'm like, should I be happy they're there, or should I be concerned they're there? What's going to happen? No issues, no worries. It was good, but they greeted us like amazing, just amazing. And the Mexican host were wonderful. They took care of us. They carted us around. They took us out. They fed us lunch. So some of the machines, so when the person comes in, this is an auto refractor. So it's sort of like the spot vision cameras, but in a desktop kind of version. So this would measure their vision. If they couldn't measure their vision, there was also an eye doctor, that woman in the white coat. There's a Mexican eye doctor, and if they couldn't be measured, or if they had eye issues, or if we couldn't find them the right prescription, they were hooked up with her. And the deal was for that $7, those 120 pesos, you either got glasses that day, or if there wasn't something that we could fit you with, you could pick a frame, and she would make them, and the Lions there would cover it. So either way, you got your eye care and your glasses. The other thing is they had a wellness fair, so they had diabetes screenings and they had nutrition testing and things like that. Also there, so this guy's heating up this pair of glasses and reshaping them. So if when we're sorting glasses, they're a little bit off or a little bit loose or whatever, it's okay. If they're broken, not so much okay. But, that can bend them, fit them, resort them. On the left is the lensometer. So this is what our district just bought. You just put the pair of glasses in there. It prints out what their prescription is so that we know if they have eyewear now, what prescription are they using now? Why doesn't it work? Is it, too little? Is it too much? So we have a starting point. So this is us working through the glasses. So 10 to 12 hours a day where, the tables are down low and you're bent over and you're looking through all these glasses, boxes and boxes of them. And these are some of the other lions. Every morning they started with a cheer. The guy that did the selectors would have a cheer. I think middle of the week it was like selectors, it's middle of the week, his lions we serve, and his glasses we seek. So it's just something to just get you going for the day. This is Mexican eye doctor as well. He was spectacular. If you had a hard time finding a pair of glasses, he could just do the measurements in his head, pick out the pair of glasses, plunk it on. The guy in the green is an Indiana lion, and he is also an eye doctor. So it was mostly Indiana lions, so we had 23 lions from the U.S. 23 in our group, and then host lions. So he's Mexican. The rest are American, and we're from Indiana, Massachusetts, and Ohio. So one Ohio, one Massachusetts, the rest Indiana. And so what we get is one of these printouts here on the left. So that prints out what you're looking for the prescription. And you go through the packs and try and find them. And this isn't the match to that. This is just a close-up of the glasses. So the number tells you that that's their cylinder, so that's how they see it, what their measurement of how much correction they need to get to the right cylinder. The sphere is if they have, if their eye is not perfectly round and you have an astigmatism, it tells you where, how much astigmatism it is. The axis tells you where on the eye that occurs. And this happens to be a pair that has bifocals. So that's the plus 375. So that's a heavy bifocal. So when you're looking through the glasses and you're thinking somebody's never going to use these things, wait till you see what some of them wear. So we find the closest we can get to that prescription. So here's one prescription, and you can see it's a minus 17.58, minus 17.5, and minus 37.00. So that's significantly poor vision. I have minus 5 or 6, so my clear vision is pretty well here. I'd be able to see blurry beyond that, but clear vision is here. So that is 5 times as bad as my vision. This is a preteen girl, a young girl. So it's going to be impossible almost for her to learn and function and even play and recognize things and do the things that kids do with that kind of vision. But believe it or not, we found a pair of glasses that worked for her because she'd never had vision correction before. Preteen, had gotten as far as she did, I don't know how, but wasn't terribly successful. But you'll see a little picture later of her. When you first correct their vision, you can't correct it to the full scope because the brain can't handle it. So they start about half and then work toward that. So this is our group. This is when we got there early in the morning. You can see it's still early in the morning, and there were people waiting and buenos dias and good to go. At 4 o'clock, when the place closed, this was the line inside. This was the line outside. Clearly, we were not leaving at 4 o'clock that day. We were not leaving at 5 o'clock that day. But this is the need in that area was just amazing. And the Mexican Lions did all the scheduling and herding and the bringing them to different areas and stuff. This is when we left. It was dark. And it was their long days. And that sounds bad, but it isn't, because the emotions and the successes and to sum up what this trip means and what those glasses mean and the difference those glasses make is almost impossible unless you're there. So I can try and I can use some of the pictures that I took, but it's almost impossible to do it. But what kept us going also is some of the boxes, when the Indiana Lions were processing the glasses and boxing them, some of them put notes in the boxes. And so I happened to open each of these, and it was middle of the day, blasting hot. You'd already been standing bent over for 4 or 5 hours, and it's like, looking for that pair of glasses, and then you open a box, and it's like, it just makes the day. Just makes the day. So it's pretty special. It's just the little things. So here are some of the places those glasses went. This little boy, absolutely adorable. This little girl, you can see the emotion in that little girl. She is crying, because she put those glasses on and looked up and saw her mother clearly, probably for the first time ever. And she could read the whole chart for the first time ever. And she just put them on and take them off, and put them on and take them off. And it's just astounding, absolutely astounding. Same with this other little girl over here. It's some of these, you'll see some of the people in a sec. Most of these people have never had glasses in their life. But these kids had never had a pair of glasses. And they're trying to learn. This girl here, see, she's got an appropriate shirt that says dream. Well, and I'm thinking, what a perfect shirt. But this is the little girl with that god-awful vision. That had that minus 30 whatever and minus 17. Getting fitted with her glasses with her mom. And Pepe, the eye doctor from Mexico, was the one doing it because it was pretty complicated. But she put them on. And she was able to read the eye chart. And she was just able to... I just can't even imagine how you go from seeing just here to just what's out there. I know when I got my first pair of glasses, I realized for the very first time there were cracks in the sidewalk, leaves on the trees, and it's like, because to me, I saw the brown thing and the big green thing at the top. That was a tree. Never knowing that there's actually leaves. I mean, I knew there were leaves there. I didn't realize you actually could see them. This woman here had never ever had a pair of glasses. I'm not sure how old, probably in her 70s. And this was a beautiful pair of glasses. I mean, they just look amazing on her. And she was trying to be all, pretty stoic about it. She's very proud, but she works in the textile industry that's local. So when she put the glasses on, we had... needle and thread there. We had different things that they could read to see if it, practically could they use them. So she picks up the needle, picks up the thread, whoop, and she was just amazed. I don't know how she threaded a needle before all this and how she got to this age, but never, ever, ever had glasses, never, ever, ever saw clearly beyond the length of her arm. So this guy here, they said, take a picture with the first person that you fit your glasses with. So that was my guy. He's just, and, I asked, can I take a picture? Explain the thing, and that's his smile. But he was just so overwhelmed too, it just caught him. But this girl here, she just, when we asked what's wrong with your vision, what are you having difficulty with? She said, I can't see the board in school. She's a very good student, a very hardworking student, but she's upset because she couldn't see the board in school. She said, I sit in the very front and I still can't see the board in school. So she got these glasses. This is actually her mom. Her mom got a pair too, but she put them on and she just astounded. And she's like, oh my God. She's crying. And for her, I actually found 2 pairs of glasses that were almost exactly right for her. And she couldn't choose between the 2. And I said, take this one and get it fitted. These ones are okay. Put those in your purse. Take 2. You're a young teen. I know what young teens do with their glasses. Take 2. Believe me. We have thousands of pairs here. So she went off with 2 actually really nice pairs of glasses. Some of the glasses that are donated are amazing glasses. But these are the faces. These are the people that those glasses go for. This little abuela. This woman here is the wife of the guy in Indiana that runs the missions. And she does the final fitting. And this abuela here, again, never ever had a pair of glasses. And she is probably better than 70. I would say maybe 90. Never had glasses. She came with a young guy, I assume her grandson. Probably never had clearly seen her kids. And I know what it's like as a new parent. You look, you count their fingers, you count this, you look at their eyes, and what color hair. She probably never had that opportunity. You can see she's got an apron on, very hardworking woman, very proud woman. She was just beside herself, hugging everybody. And this is what she's saying. She would not let go of me. She was very happy with her glasses. She was just anybody that was involved in the process. She was just hugging, just beside herself. Here's a couple more, each of them. This little girl, she has Down's, cerebral palsy, and significant vision issues. As if one thing wasn't difficult enough to make it hard for her to learn. But now she can at least see what it is that they're trying to help her with. And she was just overjoyed. And just the look of adoration is just amazing. Just amazing. So this picture, you look at it and you say, here's a group of lions and a Leo working together. But after I looked at it, I realized that it's 3 different generations of ages, lions and Leos, Mexican and Americans, and the Americans come from three different states. And here we are together in this little group working together. This was these students at the American school down there were the ones doing the interpreting. This girl, she's the daughter of the district governor. And it was kind of fun. There was a little bit of a Boston connection there because we had just had the convention in Boston. And my job on the convention committee was the DGE seminar. So checking the people in, checking to make sure they're getting to the classes and things like that. I did the service projects and I did that. So I was checking people in. And some people were coming in from Indiana. And I said, I'm going to get on to Mexico on an eye mission. Oh, well, I'm going to be there too. So, that was the DG from Indiana. He was there. And then her mom, the DG in Mexico, was there. So it was cool being down there. Here you are in Boston all at the same time. And then there you are in Mexico all at the same time. And it's just those few degrees of separation in Lions. It truly is a worldwide organization. So while I was down there, I journaled sort of, if that's what you can call Facebook postings, with pictures and stories. And this one is the last day. So Arigato, Dia Cinco. A last day of fitting glasses, bittersweet. What an amazing time it's been thus far. We have seen so many people who have lived their entire lives without being able to see the many beautiful detail every day brings, or maybe even the color of their children's, grandchildren's eyes, the detail of every finger, toe, face, smile. One abuela had never learned to read because she just couldn't see enough to be able to. But she's a hard-working woman. She could easily thread her needle now for her job. Her eyes were filled with amazement and pure joy and tears. She was so very thankful for our visit. I was so very thankful for hers. What an incredible reminder of the changes we can make in people's lives as lions, ready to see what today brings. So that other woman had never learned to read, the woman in the purple glasses, because she couldn't see, so she couldn't learn. So, but we did have an eye chart that had symbols on it, like a boat, things that kids could identify. So we used that with her to test her vision, but she couldn't read because couldn't learn. Oops. So this is the group afterwards, all of the host lions, all of us lions. They do a series of saint celebrations down there, and this particular day it was San Miguel, so St. Michael, and my friend from Ohio is Michael, and he was sure that they scheduled for him being there. But anyway, they had these little fires in the streets and stuff. And one of the things about Lions is that interchange of international understanding and collaboration and cooperation. And these Lions certainly did a good job of that. These paper, that's a paper balloon they actually made there. So they blew it up with the hot air and sent it off. It was huge. This is a place that they took us to. It's been there since, this was our last day, our down day, since the 1500s. And similar to the pyramids, every 1400 years, the constellations align over that location, and it's like a great big deal. This lake that you can see in the background there is the very first in North America hand-dug water feature. So they didn't dig the lake, but what they did was they dug paths from the mountains so that the water would come down to there and created that lake. They made chocolate, they made spaghetti. These paintings up here have been there since it was started, those original artwork. And it was just beautiful. And they had the Ministry of Tourism, and they gave us the grand tour, and the person that researched the history of it. It's just spectacular. It was a spectacular church attached. And this is what I was talking about here. Some of the purposes of Lionisms. To create and foster a spirit of understanding among the peoples of the world, and to unite clubs in the bonds of friendship, good fellowship, and mutual understanding. And that certainly occurred here. What the Mexican Lions did while we were there is service as well. So serving other lions, even just taking care of lions in your own club, that's service. Making sure they're okay, checking in with them if they have something going on. And sometimes we forget to serve our own as well. So not only do we make differences in other people's lives, we can make differences in our own lives. But this was our whole group here at that location. This was their last celebration night. This is the governor that I was telling you about. The front left, that's her mom. She became a DG in Boston. So we were already at 6,000 feet and we went higher into the mountains. This was looking across the other way. They took us to a place that had dancing horses. So they did, they danced to the music. Amazing. But you can see the fellowship and the interchange. This says we serve, so whatever language it is that it is said in or in the back of a shirt in, it means the same thing. We're all doing the same thing. We serve. This is just a quick little note because I had presented this elsewhere to our New England Lions Council, but on our LCI website, there's a lot of information about recycling. If you want to get involved with recycling and things like that, we do have one that we're developing in the district, so you don't necessarily need to worry about that. Here's some posters that are available on the website to use for where you put your boxes and stuff. And I'm sure you guys have seen these things. This is like an old post office box and collect. This is how we collect them. We also have these boxes at library, senior center, some of the schools, town hall. But they're very handy to put up, and you have people put the glasses in, as long as you have somebody that's consistently checking them. So this is some of our district projects. These are some of the lensometers. These are not the automatic ones, but they measure the strength of the glasses. At the beginning of the year, this was this year. This is a zone meeting over at Holliston Senior Center. We left it open and anybody could come, and people were ready. People are there to do that hands-on stuff and make a difference and help us sort. So we set up sorting. We sort out the pairs that are no good. We wash them. Then we measure them. Then we bag them. Then we box them. And they're good to go. That was a previous advisory. That was down in Canton Senior Center. Same thing, sorting and putting the glasses together. And what I was saying to Mark was, you have your glasses and you're wondering what to do with them. You can set up a zone meeting. You can set up a time where it's just your clubs. You have a small space that's available. It has access to like a sink and, some long tables. And we will bring the lensometer and bring the stuff that we have for washing, sorting, things like that. And you can host an actual event. So we're still working on getting our project up and running for our district, but we will bring that stuff to you guys, or say, as Mark is his own chair, bring it to where he is as his own chair to make that happen. this is a fortune that I had gotten a fortune cookie a long time ago, but I kept it. You have the ability to touch the lives of many people, and sometimes we forget that as Lions. We join and then we get in the bustle of things, and we just, you get caught up in fundraising, and caught up in your projects, and caught up in this, and caught up in meetings, and you forget all that you're doing, the difference it makes, and how you can affect other people's lives, and how you can affect not only locally, but worldwide. Some of the places our district glasses have gone: the Philippines, Uganda, Dominican Republic, Tanzania, Ethiopia, and there was one more in Africa. I forget where the other place in Africa is. But we've sent glasses to all those countries already. So even though it's not fully functional yet, we have sent out thousands of pairs of glasses to go and do the same thing as was done here on this mission. They do it every year. They pick a different place. Next year, this September, is Aguas Calientes in September. And they did get asked back, and I'm excited to go. But if anybody has any questions or comments, or just to give you an idea of what that cast-off pair of glasses, even though it looks like this big, thick, who the heck is ever going to wear these glasses? They were put to good use. It's amazing. Even a small correction. Kids' glasses. We didn't have a lot of kids' glasses. We did have a lot of kids come. So we had some smaller adult pairs and some kids' glasses. But any questions, I'm happy to.
Did you repeat the countries that they've got?
That they've gone to so far. So the Philippines, Uganda, Dominican Republic, Tanzania, Ethiopia. And there's one more place in Africa, and I can't remember exactly at the moment where it's. And we have requests for more, because now that the word is out there. So they've gone with lions. So Malden has an African Lions Club branch. And so they've sent some back, like suitcases and stuff. And we have shipped back. There was a DJ here from the Philippines. He took a bunch of readers back from Boston. The Dominican Republic, it was another lion that was traveling and brought them. So we haven't had to ship them very much yet. So we haven't had that cost yet. But some of that money was built into the grant. So the way we bought the lensometer and materials that we have now is through impact grant funds. So from LCIF, they give all kinds of grants. But when the clubs and Lions donate to LCIF, if it's an undesignated donation, our district gets back 15% on all the funds that are donated above a certain level. So for a district, it's $10,000. For a club, it's $5,000. So if your club gives more than $5,000 in a year, you would get 15% back of that. So last year, we purposefully bumped up our LCIF funding because we were so close to that $5,000 mark for a club. And so we have $750 of impact grant money that we're going to make a story walk with around the pond. We're going to put up a book and change the books periodically, but have boxes that the book pages go in, and people can walk on this open space. It's a path, and they can read the book with their kids as they go, or we can include information in these boxes. So that's what we'll do with our money. But so when you're donating to LCIF, if you leave the subject line blank, even though you're donating towards something that's going on, say a current disaster or Ukraine, if you want specifically to go to Ukraine, right, Ukraine. But if there's a disaster that comes or a specific cause that motivates you to donate, if you just leave it blank, if that's the area of greatest need, it will go there. If not, it goes in the general fund, and that 15% starts accumulating. So our club got it's essentially a bank account for money. So we got an $8,000 or so grant. We bought the lensometer for $4,000 and materials, and shipping and things like that for that grant with some of the money. Just because our Lions are so generous, we got another grant and supplied a Special Olympian team with bags with their names on them and shirts for their team that they couldn't afford. And we had a third grant that is going to go to providing sneakers to some middle school kids to help deal with some bullying. So one of the major things that you're bullied about is your footwear. And so that project's going to buy some new sneakers. Any other?
We have an affiliation to his doctor, I forget his last name. This would Brian Lease. You heard of him?
Yes.
He does a lot of work with the country, Malawi.
Yeah, Bridgeton, Malawi. Yeah, I've heard his presentation. He's wonderful.
Yeah. And know if he brings any eyeglasses.
I don't know. I mean, we certainly could approach him and ask him.
Here's one time he hasn't been taking them anymore.
Because we used to actually donate all eyeglasses.
Yeah.
To him. Yeah.
Just right now, it's going to be.
He may have saturated the village.
Not a bad thing.
Yeah, many years ago, about 3 years ago, we had the automobile out. We were checking just the seniors on a weekend. And my wife was testing the seniors, and it was funny because they had their granddaughter one, and the granddaughter's about 10 years old. She said to that, she said, could I see how that's done? Can I sit down there? So watch this. Well, I have time. I'll take it. And he sat down there. You know, so my wife looked at it, and she looked at me, and she looked at the grandparents. The girl could not see. And then, you know, so my wife explained it to her, and the grandfather didn't wait. So told the grandfather, sit down and have the girl read it and see what's going on. Because the one way she was having trouble with the black boy, the white boy.
Yeah. A lot of the kids in corrective...
Some kids don't say anything to their parents. They just struggle. Oh, that's it.
A lot of the kids in trouble and in the corrective system and stuff are kids with borders. Not all, but a lot. Because they can't learn, so they get labeled, or they get, they're just troublemakers. Because they don't know. I did not know. I was about that same age, 5th grade. And I didn't know what I wasn't seeing. I had no clue. To me, that's how I saw.
When I pick the eyeglass, I kind of make it a fun job. Like, when I go over to one market basket, and it's like the boxes on the counter, but all the kids that work in there, school kids, they cash their checks. They don't like change. They go to change in the eyeglass. So when I get all the glasses out, I see all the change on the bottom, and about a month ago, I thought, wow, they got enough for ice cream wrong. So after collecting the glasses, I walked over to the counter and bought myself an ice cream cone and sat out and said, it's right there. I just went about it.
Yeah.
You see further utility of the automobile because of the instruments?
Well, it will be separate from the automobile just because it's just measuring the glasses, the strength of the glasses. So it won't be necessarily related to what it is unless they have the wrong pair of glasses on. And one thing we would like to do is get a Special Olympics team, Lions Club, so a specialty club dealing with Special Olympics. And one of the big things Lions do other places is opening eyes. So they test the vision of Special Olympians, and they find out that a lot of them have the wrong prescriptions on because they go to eye doctors that are not quite used to dealing with that population. And it can be difficult to measure that population depending upon their level of communication. I know in Stow, you guys had a lot of kids that didn't speak English as their first language, so that can be difficult. So with using spot cameras, it's easier because they don't have to identify the letters and the numbers, so they don't have to speak English. And these kids that can't communicate or can't understand what it is you're asking them, it's easier to test them. But they have specially trained eye doctors that deal with that population all the time. But they have found a significant number of those Olympians either don't have glasses or have the wrong glasses. So that's a huge program for Lions worldwide. We don't do it as well here in Massachusetts, but it's something that we certainly could do.
Could you explain the iMobile? A couple years ago, I went to the local schools with it. We did the eye testing in the hearing, but now we cannot do that anymore.
Yeah.
I don't understand what's going on with it.
What's going on is in Massachusetts, they're very short-sighted, if you want to call it that. And they're not looking at the bigger picture. So what they're sort of caught up in is, and this is bad, it's going to be on cable, that might offend some people, but they're looking for an accuracy number. How far can this child see? Not are they nearsighted, are they farsighted, and all the other things that say for the spot camera, all the other things that the spot camera can detect, that an eye look in the box and measure their acuity isn't going to detect. So we're trying to work with legislators to at least allow that to be an alternative or an adjunctive screening. But one thing they have done, which actually is a step in the right direction, is they've taken away those box screeners just because the kids can put their face in and squint, squint, squint. I cheated my way through eye screenings to, like I said, 5th grade, like squinting, squinting, and then they just couldn't squint anymore and failed the vision test and ended up with glasses. But kids can accommodate for a short period of time in those boxes. So what the state has done is they redid all their vision screening recommendations. So you'd have to test near, you have to test far, with an updated eye chart. So the old Snellen eye chart had all those extra legs and feet to the numbers. And they do have a name, I forget what they're called, but they're not just simple letters. They have all the... And so some kids can't even identify those as, say the R has those extra feet and little curves and stuff. So they have a more modern chart that they can use to identify their numbers, and they have some shapes that they can use for the kids that struggle with that. So they did take a step sort of forward, but almost a little sideways. There's so much more that can be done with vision screening, but yeah, they've taken it away from the point.
We're not really using the iMobile.
Yeah, at this time, you cannot use our spot screeners in the schools. Outside of schools or public screening, you can use the spot vision screeners. But in the schools, the spot vision screeners can only be used to kindergarten age. Other than that, it's charts.
So if we have this truck festival, food truck festival,
Yep.
and we have the iMobile,
Yep,
we're not under the state control.
that's right.
And we can do whatever it is we want.
Yes. Well, don't be with me. Yes. I don't want to say anything, but
we
yes,
can do
you can use the
testing.
spots. Yeah.
This coming September.
And we have charts on the app. Okay, so yes.
I've almost forgotten what I wanted to say.
Sorry, man.
I think the spot camera is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
It does much more than the eye chart test, just a theory. And you mentioned a cost of like $4,000 for this.
That's the lensometer, but yeah, the spots do cost about that same amount of money, between 5 and 7 if you get a printer and stuff.
So why would it be a good project to, develop or fundraise for a spot camera to go on the iMobile?
So right now, the iMobile owns 6 spot cameras. 3 stay on the iMobile. We actually have 5 that are working. So 3 stay on the iMobile. 2 are marked for KidSight. So it's a different program of Lions that screens just kids, and it's meant to be young kids. So 2 are earmarked for that. So anybody can ask to use KidSight or have a KidSight team come and screen preschoolers, daycares, anything up to kindergarten in the schools with the spot screeners.
Okay.
So that's available. So we do have them.
But I just heard that the automobile's not being utilized.
That's because the state regulations in the schools have changed.
Okay.
So you can't use the box screeners that we used to use on the iMobile, and you can't use the spot camera above kindergarten. So as we redo eye screening procedures on the iMobile and get the bright charts and get the kits and get the near testing, the far testing, whatever, until that's all set up in two-state code, the schools aren't utilizing those as screeners.
So the bus is not set up per state code, right?
Well, because that's not the only thing the iMobile does, too. It screens for glaucoma, it does hearing testing, it does blood pressure, and we are set up for chart testing. So for older individuals, you can, use the chart. So it is set up for eye screening. It's just not, we can't use the spot and we can't use the current screening.
I'm sorry, I'm still confused, okay? It sounds like the iMobile can't be used at schools,
Right.
okay?
For
But
right now.
it is being used currently
Yep.
outside of the school arenas,
Right.
right?
Yep.
Just public space.
Public screenings,
Okay.
festivals in Boston,
Okay.
Chinatown.
And the state has no problem with that.
No, because
Okay,
it's
that's
outside the
just
school.
confusing to me.
We also took spot screeners into a poor section of Boston in parochial schools. It was a parochial school system, so that's outside the purview. And we screened thousands of school kids in just 3 visits because it's quick. And they had not had an eye screening in 5 or 6 years at these schools, so they were just amazing.
So if our club wanted to use the iMobile in that capacity, I assume we'd have to get trained. Someone would have to get trained.
Yeah, they do
And
have.
then we could go out in the public areas
Yep.
and help
Yep.
communities that aren't getting help.
Right.
Okay, I thought there was like a limit just to schools. I didn't
No.
understand.
No.
And so when we said we were not using the iMobile anymore, I didn't understand why. Because I guess our focus was schools in the past.
Yeah.
But if we wanted to change our focus, we could go out at the community areas, at the public spaces, and still serve the community.
As long as you're trained, it's allowed to work with you.
Okay, I just
The
thought
other
there was,
thing-
I thought there was a blanket, we can't use the iMobile anymore.
Yeah. The other thing that we're doing is statewide. We're developing a Lions eye screening program that's going to be implemented statewide with Lions clubs. And we're just in the process of developing that and figuring out what that's going to look like. It's probably going to be piloted, and it's probably going to be piloted in K, just because we do more of this stuff than some of the other ones. So it's just been slow because you're dealing with several different agencies and political stuff. But we will be equipped to have the correct screening kits
With
to go into the schools.
So to be very direct, if we had the iMobile on Lions Field, September 14 and 15, Saturday and Sunday, what are the things that we could test for?
You can use anything on the iMobile. You can
But we have to
vision.
be trained, right?
Okay.
Well, they will have, if they know that you don't have a lot of Lions trained, that you let them know that ahead, there are Lions that will come and help.
Who's them that,
It's the iMobile, when you book the iMobile.
Let me know. I've got.
Yeah. So there's an iMobile committee. I have to be on it.
okay,
So,
that's not,
Yeah,
it's just not clear
yeah.
to somebody like me.
no, I understand. No, you're asking all the right questions.
And I'm going to ask
We can test for glaucoma.
glaucoma.
We can test hearing. We can test vision. Blood pressure. And sometimes CVS will partner with groups and will come and do some blood sugar testing. Other things, yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, CVS or Walgreens, whichever might be closer to that area, you can call your local one and just say what it is you want to do. And frequently they'll send somebody to do some A1Cs.
Nice.
Lions can do it, but I don't want to do it with blood or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, or EMTs. If you got some test kits and you had EMTs or something that dealt with blood all the time, you could actually test blood sugars.
Well, I guess by the meeting tonight, we're requesting that we have the automobile.
Yeah, it's easy to do. I was trying to call up the schedule when you were mentioning that. For some reason, it wouldn't call up September. But it's an easy thing to do, but I would book it sooner than later because our schedule gets really booked.
Okay. Okay, we put in the request right now.
I'll take care.
So March.
I'll take care.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
How do we get training?
We have periodic trainings with the automobile. We were supposed to do one at midwinter. I don't know if they did a training or just general information side because I was caught up in a different. Okay, it's just a general information. So we do have periodic trainings where we'll say, come to the automobile and learn how to use it, learn how to steady it because it's a big, huge RV. You have to steady how to set up the different things. There's also books on there. So, procedure manuals for every single piece of equipment on there. Spot cameras are very easy to let in. It's really point and half a second later, it spits out the results. It's very
It's not that we have to man every station. So if you have trained people already from a different Lions Club that are available September 14th and 15th.
Yeah, it would be best to have a number of Lions in your club there to at least learn or request some time because we can also perhaps reserve time when you can come to the automobile and learn it ahead of time. Because you have from now till September, that's a distance away. There's probably a time within that time, but you can get several of the lines there and get trained.
Years ago, I took the training and they went way south. I don't know where it was. And it was a Saturday. And most of the morning and early afternoon. And so I was trained in both the hearing and the eyesight.
It's very simple.
It is simple.
I'm trained. I can drive it.
See if you can do it.
And you're not leaving.
No, I drive it all the time. Actually,
She was supposed to send me the schedule.
They're duties. We're always looking for drivers and people that want to be a part of the automobile, and so if you have interest in the automobile, we're always looking.
It's a good note to end on here, I think, and
Good.
just like to close up this.
yeah.
That's. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good.